coming to you live on this, I don't know, what's today, Wednesday? Some days I forget what day it is. So anyway, it's been a minute since I jumped on live and just wanted to come on here and just chat about the market, about having a game plan for trading and remembering like why you started this journey or why you wanted to be involved in this industry in the first place, because the market has been crazy lately. So it's been up, it's been down, it's been sideways, it's been all over the place. And I think the people that are getting tore up the most right now in the market are the people who, number one, if you don't have options, meaning knowing how to trade calls, knowing how to trade puts and put together strategies for you to survive in this crazy market. So I think those are the people that are getting tore up the most. People who just are like, okay, now that the market's down, what do I do? And I wanted to jump on and just chat about that, because I know how it feels to be like down in the market, or like not have a game plan, or feel like defeated, you know, like you may be losing money, or you're not as sweet as you thought you were. And I think that happens sometimes, or what I found what happened to me was when I was losing money in the market and when I was getting kind of tore up, I started realizing, like, if I took a step back, I realized like I'm not trading my plan and I'm not planning my trades, right? So that's really, you know, the theme for this Facebook Live or YouTube or wherever you're watching it from, or Instagram. It's like, are you planning your trades and trading your plan? And so what does that look like, first of all? When you think about your trade and plan, hey, James Rick, hello. Thanks for joining us. So when you think about your trading plan, sometimes you got to step back and ask yourself, like, why am I doing this? So like, why are you investing? Why do you want to have your money work for you? And, you know, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. If you are trading, if you are investing, or if you want to get into this industry, like, why? Why do you want to have your money work for you? Why do you want to learn how to invest? Why do you want to learn how to trade? I know when I got into this, my whole reason for getting into it was because I didn't want to work Saturdays. That was it. That was like the number one reason I learned how to trade when I was like 20. No, I was like 18. Well, the first reason was like, I just want to be rich. That was like the first reason. But the second reason after that was I didn't want to work Saturdays at Sprint PCS back in the day. I was working in the Best Buys and in the malls and Comp USA back when that store was around. And I was just like, I don't want to work Saturdays. So my whole game plan was literally just to make 50 bucks, right? Just to make 50 bucks. And so when you think about just wanting to make 50 bucks, I made sure that my game plan was aligned with only wanting to make 50 bucks. I made sure my game plan was in alignment with that. And so that's why for me, when I started with $500, just trying to make that 50 bucks, the game plan was just to find a stock that could move 50 cents. Does that make sense? Like, I just needed the stock to move 50 cents because I had like $500. I bought 100 shares of a $5 stock, which was the company I worked for at the time, which was Sprint. And so I'm sharing that to say, like, when I stuck to that game plan, when I stuck to the game plan of trying to make my 50 bucks and finding a stock that was $5 and that could move 50 cents, like, it's amazing when you have a plan, all your actions follow that. So I wasn't looking for $1,000 stock. I wasn't looking to trade the Googles, the Amazon, all the big boys. I was looking for stocks that fit my game plan. And so that's what my message is for you today. Like, do you even have a plan? Because I think some people jump into this game, they jump into this industry uneducated. They have no plan for the money or why they're trying to make money or what they want to do with the money when they make it. And so because you have no plans, you trade with no plan. Does that make sense? Like, if this makes sense, like, hit a thumb up, a smiley face, a heart, or something like that. Like, when you don't have a plan, all your actions all your actions roll like that. Does that make sense? Like if you go to college and if you're coming out of high school and you like, my goal is to go to college for 4 years, get out, get this job, then guess what happens? Like you go and you hit them books because you're like, I got to get out in 4 years. I'm not partying. I'm not drinking. I'm not hanging with these fools. If your goal is to be on the football team in college or whatever, when you go, you like, we got to be up at 6 in the morning practicing. We got to be running. We got to be doing whatever we got to do because we got a game. I want to be on the team. I want to make sure I don't get on academic probation and get kicked off. So your actions, and thank you for the thumbs up and letting me know you guys are there. So your actions line up to what your game plan is. And I think that happens in the stock market. Most people don't have a game plan. If you ask most people why they want to trade or why they want to invest, I bet you the number one reason is they'll say, I just want to make some money. And that was me. At first, I was just like, I just want to be rich. And when I came in with the attitude of I only just want to be rich, guess what happened? The first person I gave $2,000 to, which was Chase Bank, they put me in some whack fund, and I came back 2 years later and they lost $1,300 of mine. So, but here's the thing. It wasn't Chase's fault. My plan was only to get involved. At that point, my plan was what? I just want to get involved. Okay, they got me involved. Give me your $2,000. That's all they did. They took my money and they got me involved. So that was the extent of the game plan. Now, fast forward, when they lost $1,300, I only had $700, and then I just spent $200 and I had $500 left. When my game plan was specific, this is a key word here, or key idea, when my game plan was specific, I'm like, I need to make $50 so that I don't have to work weekends, okay? I need to make $50 a week from the stock market. I need to find a stock that can move 50 cents in a week. Then my game plan followed that. So once I got more specific, I started only looking for stocks that were in my price range, that were $5 or less, that I could buy 100 shares. What are the criteria? It had to be able to move up and down 50 cents in 1 week. Does that make sense? And so, as I'm out here just, chatting it up with you, I want you to think about, what's your game plan? Because it's not good enough for you to say, I'm a trader, I'm an investor, I got to get involved. But why? Why do you want to get involved? All right. And then what is the game plan? And then what does it go take to accomplish that goal? Right. People, I used to feel bad if people lost money and I'm like, but then I'm like, well, what was your game plan? I don't know. I was just trying to make some money. Well, how much money? Just some money. Right. And then I'm like, well, then how do you know what stocks to be in? How do you know what strategies to be in if your goal is just to make some extra money? Go cut some grass or something if you just want to make some extra money. But if you try to have your money work for you, you have to have a strategy. Well, let me back up. Before you have a strategy, you have to have in your head, how much do I want to make, right? And then why? Because I think this is why sometimes I feel like at this current stage in my life in trading, I out-survive other traders. It's because I lost all my money before. I had to move back home with my mother. I had to sell my car. I was flat broke. I had to go get a job at Verizon, right? And it all turned out to be like a blessing, big picture. But my point in sharing that with you is, as I'm standing out here in the suburbs, hanging out at the dock off the lake at home, I know in my head that I'm not trying to go back to my mom's house. I know in my head that my goals now are bigger than not having to work the weekends. I don't ever want to go back to work. And so with that being said, I only look for trades that complement that. You will never see me place a trade that just says, I want to make $300,000. No. I add up how much is my living expenses, how much is, 6 months of living expenses out into the future, how much do I need to never go back to work? And my trades are aligned to that vision. Am I making sense? If that's making sense, hit the thumbs up button. If you're on YouTube, hit whatever button, a like button, whatever. If you're on Instagram, hit whatever button it is. If you're on Facebook, I know y'all on Facebook, just hit the button if that makes sense, right? Just let me know that you're out there. And so all of my trades are geared towards never going back to work, never having to move back home with my mom, right? Being able to take care of my family, different things like that. And so you have to think about, number one, why are you doing it? And then what kind of trades are going to support what you're trying to do long term? Because if you don't have that type of clarity, then you're buying stuff and you don't know why. You're in trades too long and you're losing money and you don't know why. You know, I know when I cut my losses short quickly. Why? Because I'm like, I will not allow one trade. Whoa, that fish just jumped something crazy. I will not allow one trade to take me out the game. And so you got to use the correct position size and never putting more than all of your eggs in one basket in one trade. Now, if you only have a $500 trading account, it's very hard to put $100 into one trade and $100 in another trade, right? So you might have to go all in. But once you start getting into the multiple six-figure trading accounts, just six figures period trading account, you start looking at the game a little bit different. You like, wait a minute, I don't need to make $50,000 in one trade. I just need to make $10,000. I just need to make 10%. If I can consistently make 10%, I know at the end of the year that'll add up to $120,000. That's a six-figure salary that I didn't have to go to work for and work 40, 50, 60 hours for. And so you need to plan your trade and trade your plan. And in this market, I think most people would be surprised, including my members. And I don't know why they'd be surprised, because we put all the trades on the trade tracker. But what I'm trying to say to you is that I don't trade as much as people think. Like, people think I don't know if just there's a connotation with trading. You think I'm sitting in front of the computer all day banging away at some keys or something like that, day trading. I'm not. Sometimes I place one trade a month, maximum 2 trades a month sometimes. There's times where I won't even place a trade for a month, right? Because there are no trades. And so me knowing my game plan, me knowing how much money I need, me knowing what I'm comfortable with allows me to not do anything that's too crazy, too risky, or anything that's going to put me in a position where it's going to take away this lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I like the lifestyle. I like not going back to work for Comcast. Like, I like being out here in the middle of the day relaxing. I like hanging around the house. I like, being available for my wife, for my friends, for my family. And so I have to make sure that my trades match up the same way and that I don't take anything too risky that'll take me out the game. But when I know exactly what I'm looking for, I craft a game plan around that and I find trades that fit that criteria. So I just wanted to pop on here and just tell you that trade your plan and plan your trades. Because if you don't have a plan, then you can't trade your plan. And you can't plan your trades if you don't know what you're doing this for, why you're doing it, how much money you need. And before we wrap up, I think sometimes people also get it twisted. You have to get some other areas in your life together if you're going to be successful in this industry. And what do I mean by that, right? Like, if you're a person that got a lot of credit card debt, you just like shopping, you like buying purses and stuff you don't need. If you can't put yourself in the position to take financial risk, it's like you doomed from the start. You doomed from the start. I remember, I'll give you a quick story before we wrap up. I remember when I worked at Verizon, people used to be like, how are you investing in the market? How are you like I'm working with my coworkers, we making the same amount of money, but it's like, how do you have 20 grand in the stock market? And I used to tell them, like, I based my lifestyle off the hourly. So we were hourly or salary plus commission at Verizon. And so we got paid a commission for selling our cell phones and stuff like that. But I made sure my lifestyle did not go past my hourly rate or my salary. So if I sold no phones, if I got no commission, my hourly would take care of my lifestyle. So what I mean my lifestyle, it took care of my rent. I had like a little apartment in Troy, Michigan. I didn't have a fancy car. I think I had like a Monte Carlo, a used one or something like that. Maybe I had the 85 Cutlass. I don't know. I had something that wasn't that sweet. But while my friends and coworkers and stuff was buying Chargers and 300Cs and all that crazy stuff, they had no money to take any type of financial risk. Does that make sense? Like, you always talk to people and you'd be like, how come you don't invest? They'd be like, well, I can't afford to lose nothing. And I'm thinking, what in the world in your life are you paying for that got you living up to your financial red line? Like, what are you paying for? Is it a car? Is it a purse? Is it shoes? Like, what exactly, if you over the age of 21 and you a grown man, grown woman, what exactly are you paying for? And you got a full-time job. What exactly are you paying for that got you living up to financial red line that you can't take no calculated risk? And I think that's most people. And so they come into this game, they get nervous, they get scared. I can't lose no money, right? And so you start making decisions from that place of fear. And fear mixed with no game plan is a catastrophe, right? If you want to quote me on something, find somebody who's scared and don't have a game plan. That's like putting a teenager in the car who's scared and don't have a game plan. Guaranteed accident. Guaranteed accident. They don't have no game plan. They don't know where they're going. It start raining or snowing and they scared. Guaranteed accident. Spin out, hitting the wall, hitting another person, something. And most people live their life financially like that. Guaranteed accident. Why? Because the moment you need a new roof, the moment your car break down, you're already living up to financial red line. You already living up to your financial red line, so you can't take any calculated risk. And then the risk you do take, you take it from a place of being scared, right? And most people are taking it from a place of being scared with no game plan, so they don't even know why they bought what they bought. They don't know why they investing. By the time somebody like me come with a course or something, you're like, well, how much is it? Like, does it matter? How come you are not prepared financially to take advantage of an opportunity when it comes your way? My good friend, my best friend Zoe, he said his dad always say, like, you need to keep a couple grand on you just in case a good opportunity comes your way. And I'm thinking, like, man, more parents need to teach their kids that, or maybe your grandparents, because some of us grown and don't have a couple grand stashed away for when the opportunity comes our way. So, you know, trade your plan your trade, and remember why you're doing this, right? Remember why you're doing this. I remember when I lost a ton of money and had to move back home, not for 1 second did I think like, oh, I'm not going to be investing anymore. I was like, I knew I'd be back. That's why I went and got a job at Verizon. I was like, I knew I'd be back. I was like, I'm going to base my lifestyle off the hourly. I'm up, you know, not drive a new car for a little while. I'm going to just get a decent apartment. It's not going to be sweet, but I'm going to do what I got to do because I knew I would be back. And now, you know, to be under 40, with a lake house, no job, and just enjoying life, sometimes I'd be like, I text my buddy the other day, and I'm like, I feel like I'm 63 or something, because I'm at home with all the old folks in the neighborhood. And they always like, what, is this my man go to work? But my point is, I paid the dues while everybody else was partying. I paid the dues while everybody else was driving new cars. I paid the dues while everybody else was buying new shoes, Coogee sweaters, fancy stuff. And so no matter what age you are, my question to you as we get ready to wrap up is, you know, when are you going to start paying the dues, right? When you go cut the cable off, right? So you can save that $150 a month, right? When you go have a garage sale, when you go downgrade your car or do whatever it is you got to do to get in the game. But don't just get in the game ignorant. Like, what's your game plan? How much you trying to make? How long is it going to take? What kind of education are you going to need to execute on the goals that you're trying to make happen? Does that make sense? Tara, I think I'm saying that right. Tara says, I want to pay dues. But and here's the thing about paying dues. What I find interesting. So I joined, I'm in a mastermind with some high level. I mean, these people think way brighter and smarter than me, you know. And the thing about paying dues is you don't have to actually pay the dues because somebody else paid it for you. So a really smart person will borrow from somebody else's dues, right? They'll say, hey, what did you learn from losing that money in the stock market? How did you get involved, right? And most people, they too ornery. They too ornery, right? Most people too proud, like, I got this, I can do this on my own. I ain't gotta ask my man. I trade stocks just like he trades stocks. I'm like, bruh, when I was, even to this day, I come across another trader, I'm like, what stocks you in, right? What software you use, right? And I'm sweet, at least, I mean, I'm decent. I'm not gonna toot my own horn, but I'm saying, I'm using premium software. I'm trading multiple six-figure accounts. We doing crazy returns, but I still respect that I can learn something from each and every person, and that can shorten my window. That can shorten my progress to getting to where I want to be. And even if it's somebody that's not where I want to be, I love talking to people not where I want to be. Why? Because you can learn from them as well. Jim Rohn said on one of his motivational tapes, he said, too bad that failures don't give seminars. He said, too bad failures don't give seminars. He said, because nobody will pay him, right? You don't really pay people who fail. You want to pay people who succeeded. But the reality is, what he was saying is, he said, too bad failures don't give seminars, because he said, a good guy like you, good family, had it all and you threw it all away. I got to take you out and find out, why did you do it, right? And so what he's basically saying is, you can also learn from people like what not to do. Does that make sense? Like, I talk to people and they're like, I never took I'll talk to like doctors or lawyers or something like that. And I think because they make money in their field, they think it spills over into this industry. Like you talk to a doctor or lawyer, and most doctors or lawyers, next time you go to the doctor's office, ask your doctor or a lawyer, just be like, have you ever invested in the stock market? Most of them will say like, I don't mess with that. I tried it before. I lost a lot of money. And why do you think that is? It's because most doctors and lawyers, because they're smart in their field, right? They think, because they smart in their field, they can come over here with money and they think that equates to being smart in this field, and it actually doesn't, right? A person who has $100 and a person who has $100,000, both of them, if they don't have any education, they both motivated fools. They both motivated fools, right? This fool motivated with $100,000, this fool motivated with $100. Both of them, without the right education, they gonna be in the same boat. They losing all their money. And so when you think about, okay, so a doctor with $100,000 is no better than the guy who got $100. What's the difference maker? It's the guy with the knowledge. It's the guy with the knowledge. Because the guy with the knowledge and no money, that guy will find the money because he or she has the knowledge to flip it or work it in the market. And that was me. I didn't grow up with money. I was working at the mall with Best Buy and Sprint PCS, right? And Verizon, and then finally Comcast. Nobody left me a trust fund. But once I got the knowledge, I couldn't stop seeing the money around me. I'm like, okay, if I don't go out tonight, I can save this money. If I don't shop for people for Christmas for one day and they go tear the stuff up anyway or not remember, I'm not going to go into debt on December 25th. I have more money. And then if I save my tax returns, I'd be more prepared to invest, right? Because I had the knowledge and I knew what I was looking for. Gregory says motivated fools. Can I use that? I mean, absolutely, but it's the truth. All you got is a motivated fool, right? With some money. Stefan says, I'm new to this, just tuned in. How do I get started? I mean, if you haven't, I'm actually going to post a link below. I'm actually doing a new webinar. It's called, I don't even know what it's called yet because it's new. I'm putting the slides and stuff together now, but it's going to be like about the complete system, because typically I teach like portions of the system. I'm like, okay, you need to read charts. Okay, over here you need to know how options work, and then over here you need to know how advanced options work. Okay, if it's a retirement account, you kind of need to be doing some, covered calls or whatever the case may be. Don't worry if you don't know those terms, but I'm actually putting together a new one that's like, here's the complete package of how it works, no matter what stage or what point that you're in. So you can always check out my website, but I'm not here to, promote promote the site or anything, but it's thebrownreport.com. But if you want to get access to the new webinar I'm going to be doing, just like say something in the comments, like let me know when the webinar is ready or something like that, and I'll have my assistant or myself. I'll come in and I'll direct message you. Steven says, sound complicated. You know what, man? Being broke is complicated. That's how I could put it. So it could either be complicated to learn this industry, or, I think going to work is hard. I think that's complicated. I think not being able to afford the house, the car you want, I think, not you personally, but I think that's complicated. I thought going to work every day, and no matter how hard I work, I made the exact same amount. And I'm not knocking working, because if something hit the fan and I had to go back to work, I got my degree. I had a bachelor's in finance. I can go back to work. I got sales and marketing experience, management experience. So I'm not knocking the job. So let me be clear. But that was complicated. Trying to climb the corporate ladder, trying to kiss your boss's butt, trying to and the higher you go up, somebody either got to die or get fired for you to get them positions. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, that was complicated to me. So, I think big picture, if getting wealthy was easy, everybody would do it. So if you're not willing to learn the strategies that fit you, then the only strategy in your toolbox is what? I'm gonna go to work. And that is a strategy. Just like going to school and getting a degree is a strategy. That's a strategy, right? But those strategies only lead you down one path. W-2 income, right? Working 40, 50, 60 hours, right? Hoping somebody sit across from the table with a pen and paper and evaluate you at the end of the year and say, like a little puppy, good job, you want a little biscuit, right? A little treat. I'm being facetious, right? But that is that system. I'm being real, because I was in that system, right? And I played the game, and I played it with integrity. I played it with honesty, and I played it till its fullest extent so that it could get me to where I don't have to play that game anymore. And so to me, that game was hard, hoping my boss really took a notice of me and that I was doing a good job. And like I said, at the end of the year, gave me my little 3% raise and told me I was doing great. And so absolutely making money without physically working for it, if it wasn't a little bit complicated or a little bit hard, everybody would be doing it. But I think that's also why I have a business teaching it, because that's my job, is to make it simple. Because if a kid from Detroit, right, can figure it out at the young age that I figured it out, then there's no excuse for anybody else. I didn't come from money. My mom didn't teach me the stock market. Nobody in the family was investing. And so it can't be that complicated. I figured it out, right? If you got a computer and a high-speed internet and you know how to read patterns, we can make some money together. And so that's the beauty of it. And what I love too is there's no racism, there's no sexism, there's no ageism. Like, the stock market doesn't ask me, like, what's your race? What's your sex? How old are you? Like, what's your qualifications? Do you have a bachelor's degree? Like, it don't ask me none of that. It asks me for my username and password. That's it. Like, I log on and I do my business, right? And so it asks none of those questions. And I love the game for that. So, cool. Thanks for spending some time with me. And I just wanted to get on and chat with you and again say, trade your plan. Plan your trades, and you'll be okay. But if you don't have a plan and you get in this game with some money thinking you're going to do something, you don't have a plan, you don't have education, you'll only be a motivated fool. And most fools, there's an old saying that a fool and his money is one big party, right? That means you typically go blow it and use it all. So I'll jump in the comments and I'll answer some of your questions in the comments. I see someone said, how do you deal with taxes and some different stuff like that. So I'll jump in the comments and I'll respond to you there. All right. Check out thebrownreport.com if you want to learn more about what we do. And again, let me know below if you want to know about the new webinar that we're going to be doing. I'll see you guys later.